Who are you, DeMarcus?
The third splash brother. I don't get that on camera, right? We gotta get this right. The third splash brother. We're still taking applications, don't worry.
As you see, that was 2014, and Steph Curry tweets in 2018, the third splash brother, let's go. He is indeed joining Golden State. And this was one of those things where everybody's reaction was, wait, what? Including Jaren Jackson, who we showed you a little bit earlier, who showed out for Memphis. And then he was told the news after his rookie league debut that Boogie Cousins is joining Golden State. And here's how he reacted.
Western Conference is a tough place. DeMarcus Cousins now apparently a Golden State Warrior. Looking for a reaction
now. Oh, are you being?
I'm absolutely serious.
Well, it's the Western Conference. You know, we're all up for a challenge. That's why we're in the West. But we're focused on us, and we're just gonna keep playing games. We got a game tomorrow, so that's all we're focused on. One game at a time.
Thank you very much.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Oh my God! Can you believe it? This level.
Talking to our Kevin Arnovitz there, and really, yeah, Mark Spears joins us now, our friend from the Undefeated. And look, this is a guy you know well. This caught all of us off guard, including even you. So how did it happen? You spoke to him. What did he tell you?
It caught him off guard. You know, when he had his Achilles injury, there was some fear in the back of his mind that he might have a tough free agency in a market that wasn't that great. But he didn't expect no offers, Scott. He got no offers. He told me that I actually asked him about the New Orleans. He said GM Dell Demps told him he didn't want him. So he was stunned. As free agency went on, nothing came. And he woke up this morning in Vegas, or not woke up, he couldn't sleep. He was up at 5 a.m. looking out his balcony in Las Vegas, trying to figure out what to do. Called his agent, Jaren Akana, and said, you know what, I'm going to call the Warriors. I think he was considering some other teams at the time, but the Warriors was the main team on his mind. And you're Bob Myers. You pick up your phone, and it's probably got a Mobile, Alabama area code, and it's DeMarcus Cousins, and he probably was like, it's not him. But it sounded like him, and Cousins told him that he was interested in the mid-level exception, would probably, I can't wait to hear what Bob has to say about it when he could talk about it. But then he called Kevin Durant. He called Draymond Green, who's vacationing in Greece. He called Stephen Curry. And their excitement, their enthusiasm, Stephen Curry in particular, pushed him over the edge. And at about 8 a.m. Eastern time, he called Bob Myers and said, yes, I'm coming. I'm going to be your fifth All-Star. I'm joining the champs. DeMarcus Cousins is with the Warriors.
So here we are, and the beauty of this for him, I would think, is not just the situation that he's stepping into. And can you hear me? You got me, Mark? Did we lose you? Can you hear me?
Kinda.
Okay. The beauty of his situation is that he can rehab. They don't have to have him on the floor immediately, which means he can take his time. Does he have a timeline in mind for when he thinks he can be available?
Yeah, the beginning of training camp. Which is certainly shocking to a lot of people. I know a couple months ago I talked to him for Undefeated, and he said he would be ready for training camp, and people probably didn't believe it. And he said, look, I know people probably think I just said it to try to help myself during free agency. It's not true. He said, I expect to be ready for the beginning of training camp. Now, if you look at his Instagram, he's posted on Twitter, he's posted a lot of videos of him running on a treadmill, doing things. Now, what Bob Myers and Steve Kerr end up saying could be different, ultimately, they don't have to be in a rush to use them. I'm sure they'll be erring on the side of caution, as they all have said they've always done. But DeMarcus Cousins, if it's up to him, he's going to be in Oakland, California to the end of September, ready to play.
I love this time of year, man, because something happens every single year that none of us see coming, and this obviously is that, Mark. I appreciate your time. Before we totally lose each other, I'll say goodnight, and we'll talk again soon, all right? Yeah, that's a good night. We'll see you, Mark. The Lakers. He joins the Golden State Warriors. Okay, cool. We lose JaVale McGee. We replace him with Boogie Cousins. The NBA's version of the foregone conclusion adds a guy who, when he is right, is, I believe, as unguardable a big as there is. Now, sure, he's coming off an Achilles, so who knows? Who knows? But this is crazy. All these moves, all this money gets spent, and the champs just add another absolute monster to what is already a bomb squad. So have fun with this. Everybody, you can throw that 5 out there as your starting 5, again, when he gets right. The sleepless summer of Adrian Wojnarowski continues. Get some rest. I hope at some point that comes for you. But when this news breaks, I think there's a lot of head shaking, and you go, wow. Was this a simple matter of the allure of Golden State, or was this a market for Boogie coming off an injury where he didn't have a ton of options?
All of that. I mean, necessity. And for DeMarcus Cousins, it was a perfect storm of a depressed market for big men, not a lot of salary cap space, and, of course, the Achilles injury. And then also throw in there are still teams who aren't sure they want him around when he's not at his best, if he's coming off the injury. He's got to work through all that in Golden State now. He's got a great chance in this environment, and it was explained to him today. Hey, listen, there's going to be nights when you are back playing where you're going to get 5 shots, 6 shots, and that cannot be a problem for you. It's not going to be about you. It's not going to be built around you. And this is a great opportunity for you to go show people that you'll be fine with that. That's how he's going to rebuild his not just his image, but his worth on the market next year, besides showing he can get back from a severe Achilles injury, which is really tough, especially for big men.
I think people's reaction, and I'm just projecting here, but I get it too, is that you think in your mind of when we saw him getting 40 or whatever, and he's a monster. He's an unstoppable force. But we also know that he hasn't been the greatest locker room presence either. But I would have to imagine that this is a bright guy. You can't screw this up going to a situation like this.
He was much better in New Orleans. He really was good there. Anthony Davis told me last year he loved playing with him, and he wanted, as long as he was there, he wanted him there. I know how those coaches felt about him. And they extremely bright and got better, became more disciplined defensively. He improved there. It was a less dysfunctional environment than Sacramento.
Sure, of course.
Right?
Most things are.
Right, but now in Golden State, there will be a spotlight on him. And here's what Golden State loves about this, how this is going to play out. Steve Kerr, it's not like he's going to show up at training camp and start practicing and not get to know him. And, you don't know the guy, right? It's going to be a long time before he plays, maybe December, January. And they love the idea in Golden State that he's going to be sitting there on the bench with Steve Kerr. He's going to get to know him. They're going to get to build a relationship long before. And someone in Golden State kind of said to me, if we lose 2 or 3 games in a row, no one's going to be like, hey, we got to get Cousins out there. He takes all the time he needs to get right from this injury because they're going to win games without him. They'll win with him.
Another ultimate luxury on top of the ultimate luxuries. Meanwhile, the Lakers continue to add pieces on one-year deals that are also, like Cousins, at times, interesting locker room presences. Rajon Rondo is the guy I'm mentioning now. What do you make? What does the league make of the pieces that the Lakers are surrounding LeBron with? Because the thought was he'd go there with a star. Well, there's no other star coming along, but there's a bunch of these interesting pieces. Where are we with this?
Rondo today, I think you can see Rondo kind of revitalized his career last season in New Orleans. He did, and it's a big loss for them to try to figure out how they'll replace him. He was a glue player for them. I don't have as much of an issue with that as some of the deals they did yesterday and some of the
McGee and Stevenson.
Yeah, especially Stevenson, to put him in the environment there in L.A. He's not had any success outside of Indiana. He has done well in that cocoon of Indiana. Like, he'll end up back with the Pacers again someday. They expect they'll bring him back. Yeah. But I think, when LeBron was on his way out in Cleveland, he said, I want to play with high IQ basketball players. I want to play with intelligent guys. And some of that was, in the aftermath of the end in Cleveland. And
Rondo's that.
Yeah, and there's no smarter guy with a ball in his hands. Brilliant. He's going to challenge Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo Ball has got the knee injury now. He missed a lot of games last year. He's got some habits that have to get better. And you're going to have a guy internally who can play, go out and give you minutes. I don't know if Rondo can be 30, 35-minute-a-game guy on a really good team. He was for most of last year in New Orleans, but I think he will be good. I think there's going to be a lot of new challenges for Lonzo Ball. This thing's not about him anymore.
Every day it's interesting. Every day it's fascinating. Please get some rest. Promise me you'll rest.
Last thing, shout out to the great Jim O'Connell,
Right
AP basketball writer, died today. A legend in our industry. We're going to miss him.
I wish I knew him because everybody who I respect that covers the sport that I love has spoken the exact same way about the guy they call Ox. So I appreciate you mentioning that.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep, thank you, Woj. All right, so we pivot from the pieces the Lakers have added in addition to LeBron James. My favorite tweet on adding Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, and Rajon Rondo came from writer Miles Brown, who said, the Lakers went to the store and came back with filet mignon, fruit by the foot, salt, a keychain, and a National Enquirer. What's for dinner? It's certainly the question we're all wondering. All these one-year deals with guys who haven't always played well with others, to put it kindly, how do they fit? Seems like some redundancies with players of similar skills and weaknesses. I mean, how many point guards do you need who can't shoot? It's all pretty curious. Last season, the Lakers 25th in the NBA in passes per game, according to Second Spectrum. But you had LeBron and Rondo to a team that had Lonzo Ball, and you have 3 of the top 20 in individual passes per game. So we're, in theory, going to see a more fluid offense. But if you pass, you have to have the right people in the right spot. Ball and Rondo are not going to spot up and hit threes off LeBron drives. They combine to shoot 31% from 3, 5 percentage points below the league average. On the other hand, Kyle Kuzma, who had a nice rookie year, and KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, could be out there on the receiving end. They combined to shoot 38% from 3 last year. We talked to Paul Pierce earlier in the evening, before the Boogie Cousins news had broken, about this Lakers roster. Joined now by Paul Pierce to try to help make sense, at least for me, of what the Lakers are surrounding LeBron with. You get LeBron, and now we're adding interesting pieces, but guys that personality-wise, I'm trying to figure out how you can bring in a Lance Stevenson, a JaVale McGee, a Rajon Rondo, and how you make these pieces and these personalities all fit. Does it make sense on paper, Paul, to you, what they're doing?
Well, when you look at the Lakers organization, they have great leadership within the organization. You got Magic there, guys like Rob Pelinka. Of course, you got a young coach in Luke Walton with a lot of these guys played against. But you also have LeBron. So there's going to be leadership there in the locker room. But as far as personnel, you have to wonder, do these pieces fit around LeBron? You know, he needs guys that can space the floor, can knock down shots. But the good thing is, these guys that you said, they're going to play hard. You know, they're going to be in the grit of things. You know, these are guys like Rondo, Lance Stevenson, who's made deep playoff runs. They've been to the finals. And so those are veterans that, under the leadership of LeBron and Magic Johnson and Luke Walton, can help the young guys move along and, you know, their development, you know, go at a faster pace when you have veterans around who are experienced. But this team, you know, with LeBron, is going to definitely compete.
You know Rondo well, and the IQ that he possesses, everybody raves about. And is it the type of thing where we're talking about like advanced level classes that Rondo and LeBron will understand that can help bring along the rest of the crew?
Well, without a doubt, and that's something LeBron mentioned in the press conference there in the finals. You know, guys need better IQs when you're surrounded with greatness, and Rondo brings that. He's a guy that's going to take pressure off LeBron. He understands, you know, how to play with other great players. You know, LeBron's ball usage has been huge over the last few seasons, over most of his career. And as he gets older in age, he needs guys like Rondo, Lonzo Ball to bring the ball up, make plays for him, guys like Lance that can make plays. Because as he advances in age, you know, he has to find different ways to score, make life easier on himself. So, you know, having a guy like Rondo definitely improves the team's IQ.
My final thought here, man, I'm not just looking at one-year contracts. I'm looking at one-year deals, and I'm looking at the guys and the personalities. And I use the line in our meeting, it's like the island of misfit toys. And there's guys that can play, I get it. But I'm thinking you throw these ingredients in the pot and you try to cook it, and I just don't know what you're going to get at the end, especially in the West. And I guess what I'm really asking you, Paul, is at the end of this, if this is what they are, do you like it?
Well, I just don't think they're done making moves. I think the roster that you see now won't be the roster.
I agree.
After the trade deadline. But, you know, they were going at the best available guys. You know, they missed out on Paul George. You know, who knows what's going to happen with Kawhi this year. And so, you know, you have to get those assets, you know, guys that are still, you know, veterans who can make a difference in a playoff setting like a Rondo, like a Lance Stevenson. And so, you know, that's what I thought they did. So, but like I said, this would not be – they got to see what they got first. You know, once the season starts, you see what you got But at the end of the day, you have LeBron. And when you have LeBron, you're automatically a contender.
No question. We're on the same page here. I guess I just continue to look at this puzzle, and he's right there in the middle, and I'm trying to figure out how the hell the rest of these things fit together, because it feels like there's a bunch of redundant pieces and a bunch of pieces I just don't get. But we'll see how the picture takes shape, man. I appreciate your perspective on this very much, Paul. Thank you.
All right.
First day in Boston was a big